Thunder shower. Sunday looks even more dry.
Okay, Lisa, thanks.
I'll live for news at 5. See you at 6.
Good night.
On World News tonight, Osama bin Laden shows up on a videotape 4 days before the election. He tries to explain why al-Qaeda attacked on 9/11 and why he would do it again. The final weekend of the presidential campaign, Mr. Bush and Mr. Kerry try to hone that final message and respond to bin Laden, too. Today's report about the economy. There's something for both candidates to work with. And our person of the week, so important to the cause with so little recognition.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening, everyone. We do begin tonight with Osama bin Laden. He showed up again just a few hours ago on videotape. The first time we've seen him talking since November 2001, only 2 months after the attacks on 9/11. We've heard him since, and we've seen him since then. But today, with the presidential election only 4 days away, bin Laden has imposed himself on Americans once again. This time, in a message to the American people, as he put it, bin Laden seems to explain himself and when he first thought of attacking the trade towers. Bin Laden spoke in Arabic. If I hate freedom, he said, as Bush says, why wouldn't I attack Sweden, which is a freer country? Bin Laden looks fine, which is to say he doesn't look ill. His hands were steady, his beard no grayer than we have seen it in the past. Every intelligence agency in the world is now looking at the tape, and both the president and Mr. Kerry must now deal with a genuine October surprise. First, on the tape, here's ABC's Brian Ross.
Sitting behind a desk like a head of state, the 47-year-old bin Laden calmly read his message to America. The security of the Americans are in their hands, he said, and any state which does not mess with our security will be automatically secure. For the first time, bin Laden took direct responsibility for the September 11th attacks. We decided to destroy towers in America, he said, after our patience ran out, and we saw the injustice and inflexibility of the American-Israeli alliance toward our people. Bin Laden said the destruction of building towers in Beirut during the Israeli invasion in 1982 inspired him to target the towers of New York. And he said the best way to avoid another Manhattan was to stop threatening Muslim security. The last time video of bin Laden was released was in September of last year. Footage of him walking with his deputy that intelligence officials believe was actually made in 2001. It is not known when today's tape was recorded, but it contains several references to next week's election, even a mention of what he called the forgeries in Florida in the last election.
ليس بيد كيري أو بوش أو القاعدة.
The security of Americans, he said, is not in the hands of Bush or Kerry or al-Qaeda. Your security is in your own hands, he said. U.S. officials are now debating whether anything on the tape gives reason to raise the national threat level. But whatever the case, after 3 years on the run, Peter, Mr. bin Laden is still in a position to wage at least a war of words against this country from wherever he's hiding.
Though speaking of words, Brian, one of our colleagues in the Middle East tonight said he was a little surprised in that this was not the rant that we've come to expect from al-Qaeda tapes. It had a slightly almost offensive quality to it.
Very much so, very calm and collected, but trying to explain himself in a way that we've not seen quite before.
And very much identifying the president and Mr. Bush Sr., the former president, with those leaders in the Middle East who hand on power to their sons.
He lumps them all together as corrupt and greedy.
Many thanks, Brian. Brian Ross. The text of all this, by the way, you could find at abcnews.com. Of course, it's quite fascinating and disgusting to read. Both of the presidential candidates, of course, had something to say about the bin Laden tape this afternoon. First, here's the president.
Let me make this very clear. Americans will not be intimidated or influenced by an enemy of our country. I'm sure Senator Kerry agrees with this. I also want to say to the American people that we're at war with these terrorists, and I am confident that we will prevail.
Let me just make it clear, crystal clear. As Americans, we are absolutely united in our determination to hunt down and destroy Osama bin Laden and the terrorists. They are barbarians. And I will stop at absolutely nothing to hunt down, capture, or kill the terrorists wherever they are, whatever it takes, period.
So this is, of course, now a factor to some degree in the presidential election. For the last few days, ABC's George Stephanopoulos is with us. It's probably not appropriate of me to characterize the tape as I did, calling it disgusting, but how does a politician identify with the disgust of most, if not all, Americans, and still either use this for his presidential campaign or see that it doesn't hurt him?
Very carefully. Look at the word that Senator Kerry used, barbarians. Most important for both Senator Kerry and President Bush here is to look sober, to look tough, and to look patriotic, not partisan.
It will get, in fact, as we've seen on the television already in the debate, it's got pretty partisan already.
No question about it. Senator Kerry's surrogates are saying what Senator Kerry has said before. They're reminding people that President Bush had his chance at Tora Bora, they say, to get Osama bin Laden, and he didn't do it. But it's unclear at this point, Peter.
And then a Bush surrogate came back and said that was exploitation.
No question. You're going to hear that over the weekend. But it's unclear, I think, to me, how these politics are going to play out. You can say it helps President Bush because he leads on the war on terror. It helps Senator Kerry because President Bush didn't capture Osama bin Laden. My guess is it's a wash. Most people have already made up their mind in this election.
Many thanks, George. George Stephanopoulos. Our latest tracking poll, by the way, shows a statistical dead heat in the race overall. Still, 50-47 for the president now, a slight improvement for Mr. Bush compared to yesterday. Senator Kerry barnstormed across the pivotal state of Florida today, and there was a clear shift in emphasis before this because he has begun to deliver what you could say is his closing argument to the voters. ABC's Dean Reynolds has covered the campaign for weeks.
After all the months and miles, the handshakes, speeches, and polls, the time has come for John Kerry's final appeal to the nation.
When you go into that voting booth, you're going to face a fundamental choice. Do you want 4 more years of the same failed course, or do you want a fresh start?
In Orlando this morning, the candidate summarized what he sees as his opponent's failings, and they go way beyond the war in Iraq.
Biggest deficits in history, jobs overseas, costs going up, wages falling for Americans. This is George Bush's record, but it doesn't have to be our future.
When Kerry spoke in Orlando and later in Miami, he was unaware of Osama bin Laden's latest taped message, though its release dovetailed with one of his central points, that any American who reads newspapers or watches TV can see that Bush's policies abroad and here at home have failed.
We need a president who can do more than one thing at the same time.
Yet polls show the race is tightening, with some movement away from Kerry and toward a president he's called stubborn, arrogant, and incompetent. No wonder there was a hint of frustration in Kerry's voice today.
This election is a choice between 4 more years of tax giveaways for millionaires along with a higher tax burden for the middle class. Wake up, America. Wake up.
From here on out, it's a sprint to the finish line with a concentration on Florida and the Midwest. But as John Kerry learned today, there will always be some things that are beyond his control. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, with the Kerry campaign in Miami.
Now, before this question of Osama bin Laden came up today, Mr. Bush had taken something of a different approach. So here again is our White House correspondent, Terry Moran.
This morning in Manchester, New Hampshire, after weeks of slashing away at Senator John Kerry, President Bush offered an argument for his re-election without once mentioning his rival.
In the final 4 days of this historic campaign, I've taken my vision of a more hopeful America directly to the people of this country.
Instead, the president sought to tug at the heartstrings of voters, summoning up once again the ghosts of September 11th, 2001, and the spirit of unity and strength that swept the nation afterwards.
After September the 11th, the world saw strangers comforting each other and a nation united in pride and defiance. For 3 years, the people of this country have shown patience and purpose in the hard tasks of history. We've risen to great challenges, and every American can be proud of their country.
There was a rare slip-up by the well-oiled Bush machine.
God bless you, Arlene.
That explosion was a cannon firing off the confetti in the hall. It wasn't supposed to happen until the president finished. But overall, the Bush campaign was upbeat today. Even Vice President Cheney had fun telling a skeptical audience he was heading for Hawaii, a Democratic stronghold.
The polls look so good in Hawaii. Nah, that's not a joke. That we're going to drop in there instead of going to bed Sunday night.
Republicans do believe or hope Hawaii has become a battleground state now. For his part, the president will be in 9 states between now and Election Day, including a marathon 7 stops Monday. Terry Moran, ABC News, with the president in Columbus, Ohio.
Now, just one item today to confirm or to try to clarify the story that's been dogging the candidates all week about the ammunition dump in Iraq. The Pentagon held a news conference, and an Army major said that his unit had removed 250 tons of ammunition from the al-Qaeda site in April, or rather on April the 13th last year. But as it turned out, by the time he was finished, he could not say for certain that it was the material in question. When we come back this evening, the latest government report on the economy. Are Americans better off than they were 4 years ago? Why both presidential candidates wanted to appear on this Spanish television show this weekend. And at the end of the broadcast on this Friday, our Person of the Week, anticipating every move.
For the nagging joint pain and stiffness of osteoarthritis, over-the-counter pills may not always be what you need, but some prescriptions may not be right for you. That's why there's Celebrex for joint pain relief. Nothing more and nothing less. Celebrex targets the source of pain and inflammation. It doesn't make you foggy, and it's not narcotic. Your pain doesn't slow you down, and neither should your pain reliever. Celebrex should not be taken if you've had aspirin-sensitive asthma or allergic reaction due to aspirin or other arthritis medicines or certain drugs called sulfonamides. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems. Just one Celebrex gives 24-hour, all-day, all-night relief. Talk to your doctor about prescription Celebrex. Celebrex. Joint pain relief. No more, no less.
My credit card company asked if I just bought an engagement ring in Rio de Janeiro. Someone out there was claiming to be me.
Identity thieves have lots of tricks. Your credit card company knows most of them.
I'm happy to say that engagement got postponed.
We head off thousands of fraudulent card uses every month, even outside the U.S.
Rio?
Your credit card companies.
Whoa. Honey.
What do you think it means?
Means we're going to Big Lots.
Get a head start on the holidays with brand name toys at closeout prices. We've just brought in truckloads of toys for kids of all ages. So hurry in for our best selection of the year and save up to 50% off discounted toy store prices. Get your holiday shopping off to the smartest start ever. At Big Lots, brand names, closeout prices, happy people.
The government said today that the economy grew at an annual rate of 3.7% in the third quarter. That was an improvement from the spring, but less than forecast. This, of course, is the government's last snapshot of the economy before Election Day. And our business correspondent, Betsy Stark, is with us to say that I guess each campaign gets a little bit out of it.
Each campaign does get a little bit out of it, but what matters to voters, Peter, gets back to that question that Ronald Reagan first asked when he ran for president. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago?
For most Americans, economic well-being begins with having a job.
Well, I'm not working nearly as much.
And there are 821,000 fewer jobs today than when Mr. Bush took office. On the flip side, more Americans than ever own their own homes, and the value of those homes has gone up an average of 26%, at the same time that mortgage rates have gone down. Even so, Americans are more in debt than they were 4 years ago. They're spending 49% more for family health insurance, 35% more on tuition at public universities, and 39% more for a gallon of gas.
We spend a lot more money on gasoline now than we did 4 years ago.
Some Americans may have saved money from the decline in federal income taxes under Mr. Bush, on average down 10%. Investors, however, may think about the 5% decline in the Dow during his term and the 28% drop in the NASDAQ.
Americans have lost ground on several pocketbook issues, but when we asked in a recent poll, are you better off than you were 4 years ago, the results were a draw, with perceptions following politics. Likely Bush voters were likely to have a positive view of the economy, likely Kerry voters a largely negative view.
That's interesting. Once more divided.
Exactly.
Many thanks, Betsy Stark. One item about a story we've been following all week. The Palestinian President Yasser Arafat is in a hospital near Paris tonight. He was flown there from the Palestinian territories for treatment of a serious illness. Palestinian officials say they do not know exactly what he is suffering from. When we come back this evening, the Spanish television program that Mr. Bush and Mr. Kerry both want to be on.
Sore throat pain. It's hard to work, hard to think. No time for ordinary drops. End your sore throat emergency fast with the strongest Cepacol lozenges ever. Cepacol numbs sore throat pain fast with Menthocane action. Menthocane, 2 anesthetics for fast relief. So effective it's #1 in hospitals.
The pain is gone.
And try new Cepacol dual action spray. Numbs pain on contact, coats your throat for comfort. Cepacol ends your sore throat emergency.
A clinical study has shown that Cheerios, made with all natural whole grain oats added to a low-fat diet, can actually help reduce cholesterol. Just think of them as little life preservers. Certified by the American Heart Association.
What makes CVS Pharmacy the leading drugstore in America? Well, with the Extra Care Card, our customers got back over $1 billion in savings and rewards last year. CVS Pharmacy. Expect something extra.
There is no safe cigarette. Light and ultralight cigarettes are no exception. To reduce the health effects of smoking, the best thing to do is to quit. At philipmorrisusa.com, you can find this and other information on the serious health effects of smoking, along with links to sites that can help smokers quit. For more, call or visit philipmorrisusa.com.
I swim, I jog. I love junk food. Sometimes even I get constipation.
X-Lax gives you gentle relief, regular for a little help, and maximum strength too. X-Lax for regular people who sometimes aren't.
Star makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you.
Hey, Boston Red Sox, you finally reversed the curse and won the World Series. What are you going to do next?
We're going to beat the world! We're going to beat the world! We're going to beat the world!
Monday, one day before you vote, Peter Jennings face-to-face with the man who wants to be the next president, John Kerry. Have the candidates saved their best for last? Plus, the latest from the Bush campaign. Election week, it's finally here, and all eyes are on Peter Jennings and World News Tonight.
So on this last weekend of the campaign, we're going to take a minute to focus on a television event that demonstrates the closeness of the election and the power of a minority group. Tomorrow, both candidates will appear on Spanish-language television. That's how important Latino voters are now. And what a program it is on Univision, the enormously popular Sábado Gigante.
Sábado Gigante!
Oh yes, this is what you're missing. One consumer group called it the raunchiest program on television. Some Latinos call it sleazy. But if you want to reach 3 million Latinos on Saturday night, este es el lugar. This is the place to be.
Quiero que todos los hispanos oyen mis palabras y voten por mí en el segundo día de noviembre.
Spanish, of course, for I want your vote.
Because esta es la elección más importante de nuestras vidas.
en todo lo que es importante para nuestras familias es en riesgo.
The most important election of our lives, says Mr. Kerry. The program's host is Don Francisco. 4 years ago, he had to pursue the presidential candidates relentlessly, and then 6 million Latinos voted. This time, it was easy. Latinos, if they vote, will make a significant difference in several battleground states, including Florida, Wisconsin, and certainly New Mexico. When we come back this evening, 2 years of no life, no dates, no sleep, and not much money. Our Person of the Week.
World News Tonight with Peter Jennings and Person of the Week. Brought to you by Walmart.
Our son was born with liver disease. He had heart surgery when he was 3 months old, and he had his liver transplant when he was 7 months old. It's nice to know that I work for a company that would take care of everything we went through with my son. You can think of the Mayo Clinic, you know. It's the best place they could have found. I don't think people know how great the benefits are at Walmart. Without Walmart, he wouldn't. I don't know that he'd made it. I don't know that we would have made it.
Cool mint taste. No sugar carbs. Introducing sugar-free wintergreen lifesavers.
New for endless shrimp, Red Lobster introduces a new take on one of your favorite flavors, Coconut Shrimp Bites, our newest all-you-can-eat signature creation during Endless Shrimp, now at Red Lobster.
Active emollients suspended in a unique deep cleansing formula to lift away impurities and let the natural beauty shine through. Deep Cleansing Formula 409, the beauty of clean.
7 years ago, Bristol Myers Squibb medicines literally saved my life. I simply wouldn't be here without them. Today, Bristol Myers Squibb researchers are focused on our most serious diseases with revolutionary treatments for cancer and AIDS. These researchers dedicate their lives to fighting our most serious diseases. And these medicines can make the difference for millions of us. I'm living proof of that. Hope, triumph, and the miracle of medicine. Bristol Myers Squibb Company.
This is Robin. How may I help you?
We had 3 vehicles stolen last night.
Uh-oh.
All 3 of them on OnStar, huh? If you could maybe help me, I'd appreciate it.
Police report been filed?
Yep.
We'll get started on this right away. I will be calling you back shortly.
Okay, super. Good evening, it's Rick.
Hey, Rick, this is Robin with OnStar. Guess what? They got all the vehicles.
Unbelievable. My guys are clapping over here. This is going to come up at the sales meeting tomorrow morning.
I'm glad it worked out that way.
OnStar is available on 51 GM models.
Next time a cold wears you down, pick up Alka-Seltzer Plus. With a burst of effervescence, Alka-Seltzer Plus is instantly ready to break up your worst cold symptoms fast. So you're not just relieved, you feel revived. Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold.
Everyone's coming to America's favorite new show.
So you think she's cheating on you? I think so. I'll take care of it.
It's never too late to get the dirty laundry.
You're a woman. Manipulate them. That's what we do.
And all new Desperate Housewives this Sunday, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
Saturday, Kate Snow, live from the election battlegrounds. What will sway the undecided? Don't miss Good Morning America Saturday. And Sunday, Republican and Democratic leaders from the House and Senate face off and size up what's likely to happen after the votes are in on This Week.
Finally this evening, our Person of the Week. It is quite dramatic when you think about it. Next week at this time, so many lives will have been dramatically changed by the results of the presidential election. Tonight, by way of giving credit where credit is due, we choose some people who have been indispensable.
My business card reads Marvin Nicholson, Chief of Staff. You know, making sure he has his briefing books, to making sure he has his peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Marvin Nicholson has been John Kerry's body man, they call him, since Kerry decided to run in 2002.
He said to me, you know, it's going to be a long 2 years because it's going to be a lot of work. I'm going to need somebody that I can trust. I need somebody that's going to be for me, be there for me every day.
Nicholson is 32. He's from the Canadian province of British Columbia, and we think he's the only man on the campaign taller than the candidate. Nicholson was working at a windsurfing shop in Massachusetts when he met Kerry. Nicholson always has to be one step ahead of the man, like with a pen when it's autograph time.
My arsenal of pens. I like to be prepared for every possible signature scenario. Our mainstay would have to be the Sharpie.
And who does Kerry usually throw the ball with? The constant and faithful companion. Oh, come on, even he needs to rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, the program will begin in 2 minutes.
This is President Bush's body man, Blake Gottesman. We asked the Bush campaign if we could talk to him. Sadly, they said no. He's known as the 2-minute man. When Blake puts a speech on the podium, the president is about to arrive.
The President of the United States.
The personal aide is always the keeper of the schedule. He tells the candidate, quietly, when it's time to move on. Tim McBride was the personal aide to former President Bush.
The secret weapon was to walk in the room and say, Mr. President, the Secret Service has blocked the streets, the motorcade is waiting to go, and that would usually evoke a reaction that, man, we've got to go.
Chris Engsko was Bill Clinton's body man for 3 years.
The way I describe it to people is no life, no dates, no sleep, and no money.
It is the psychological support that may be the most important.
At the end of the day, you're the only person in their lives who may not have an agenda other than just take care of them. Toward the end of our time, I feel like we were like an old married couple. We could go through an entire day without saying 2 words to each other and anticipate every other move.
End of the night, we'll be in the room, we'll maybe rent a movie, have a burger, have a beer. The way the schedule is now, his day is so jam-packed that it's sort of it's time for him where he can just forget about all that stuff and we just hang out.
This has been a relationship for virtually every president. Before the great adventurers Lewis and Clark, there was Lewis and Jefferson. Meriwether Lewis was Thomas Jefferson's aide when he was 27. Dave Powers was John F. Kennedy's legendary right-hand man.
He used to like to be in the sack by 11 o'clock. He'd hate to have you leave right up until the time he had said his prayers and stretched out, and then he'd say, "Good night, pal. Will you please put out the light?"
So finally, what's in the bag? They've all carried one.
In ours, a deck of cards. I always carried a Bible. I always carried a thesaurus. There were a lot of little reference things.
Souvenirs, souvenir autographs that the Vice President may have signed during the day. It also included an emergency bottle of hairspray in case the DEW got into real trouble.
And for the current Chief of Staff, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Always.
We probably have about 3 to 4 PBJs a day. We usually do it sort of mid-morning, then we have them again in the afternoon, sometimes even the end of the day, late at night, we have a PBJ.
And so we choose Marvin Nicholson, the body man, and the others too, of course. He does remind us how many people slave away for their candidate day after day, month after month. It's about the power that comes with intimacy without any particular burden. That's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good weekend and good night.
This is ABC News, accurate and credible. And election night, as America chooses its next president, Americans will again turn to Peter Jennings and the people of ABC News.
Jessica and Ashley Simpson, sexy, hot megastars. So how did their dad, a former Baptist minister, help them skyrocket to success? Is there anything he wishes he could take back?
As a dad, do you ever feel squeamish that she is a sex symbol?
Tonight on 2020.
News 2 at 6 starts now.
4 days to decide 4 years. While a record number of Tennesseans voted early, some remain undecided, and time is quickly ticking away. Good evening, I'm Ann Hoyle.
And I'm Bob Mueller. Analysts say undecided voters will likely determine this year's presidential election. And there are still many out there, even at this late date. So, what's making the undecided so indecisive? News 2's Sylvia Castaneda hit the streets today to find out. She joins us live tonight from downtown Nashville. Sylvia?
Well, good evening, Bob. Call it sidewalk politicking. We asked voters to let their feet do the talking to tell us who they plan to vote for president or if they're still undecided. Here's what we found. The lines drawn in the sidewalk.
Oh, broke my chalk.
The party's representatives established. Bush Kerry. But then there's a group in limbo, the undecided vote. So we decided to ask those walking down 2nd Avenue where they stand with just 4 days to go before Election Day. This man takes a stand for President Bush.
But when it comes down to national defense, I just think that President Bush is definitely going to be acting in our best interest.
This woman for John Kerry.
I feel that Kerry is much stronger for the majority of Americans economically.
Yet with Election Day so close, we saw a lot of this, the undecided. Why?
I don't know. I can't answer that. Sorry.